Hello everyone. In today's video, we're going to be talking about setting up a project status report on only one page where we focus on 4 particular areas for the status. So let's get into that video right now. Before we start, I want to let you know of my course, IT Project Manager Interview Success. You'll learn how to structure your past experience into a project management resume and learn techniques to prepare you for the next project manager interview. Also, please subscribe to be informed of future videos related to project management and find the link for the course in the description. Let's get started. Let's get into details as to what I've done here for this status report where I was able to fit on one page. Now, keep in mind at the PMO you work at, there may be already a status report template, or you may be leveraging the PPM tool at your organization to develop status reports already. So if that's the case, that's great. This is kind of a situation where it's more of a free flow type of reporting structure where there's no specific type of template you have to use, but something that you're going to need anyway to report out to your senior management. So first of all, up here on the top left, you have your project identifier as well as the name of the project, and you want to have the date as to the date of the status report. And normally what happens here is that you're presenting limited information, but if you have the project identification number here, for example, P206 or whatever identification method you use at your organization, you can also kind of establish traceability with this. If somebody on the audience is looking at this and they're not particularly sure which project this belongs to, they can reference this number in the PPM tool and they'll know exactly which project this is. And the reason why I mentioned that is because here in the first quadrant, I quickly get into the highlights of what happened with this project in the past week or in the past time frame since you last reported. So if you're reporting every single week, try to put in stuff here, accomplishments from the last week, or if you report every month, like in a program status call, put in the accomplishments for the last month. So it really depends on that. Here, you want to put in the next actions. So as for example, if you have actions that are coming up or milestones, put down the date. I found it helpful to put the date where it's expected to be done, because a lot of times that's going to be the next question from your senior management or the audience is that you're having the next actions here, but if you don't have a date, the likely first question is going to be, well, when do you have all of these things coming up in the next week? Are you confident that you're going to accomplish this? When exactly are you going to do it? So it's good to have the dates here. And then in regards to highlights, to take a step back, make sure it's items that were completed and that were tangible related to a milestone. For example, the deliverable of the systems integration testing plan or the performance testing plan, that's a good thing to put here. Don't just put here that you had meetings with the system integration team to discuss SIT. Don't put something like that. That's kind of like a weak statement to put there, and you might get that type of feedback from your management. So put actual deliverables here that were supposed to be completed, or whatever accomplishments there were in relation to those deliverables that contribute to these milestones. Speaking of milestones, what you want to do here is you want to have the upcoming milestones listed out. It's up to you if you want to list the milestones by the current phase that you're in, like initiation, planning, execution, or closing, or testing. It's up to you. Or if you want to do the milestones that are upcoming in the next month, you can put those here. Of course, you have your due dates. Here you would have your owner. Now here I just put the roles, but the thing is you want to have the actual person or the lead who's taking care of these milestones. And here on the left, what I did is that I put like these color-coded items. The black means that it's already completed. Green means that it's on course to be completed. And the yellow one here, there's a risk here that this particular date won't be met, July 8th. And I'm going to get into that in a second, because when you have a risk here, you have to have an associated risk or issue down here. And I'll get to that in 1 second. Coming up here, you have your traffic light system. Overall project is green, schedule is green, scope Now, cost is yellow. And the reason why I noted that yellow is that if you come down here to the left, I have a quick snapshot with the finances. And what happens here is that we're underspending on the project. We have realized spend so far of $500,000. The remaining spend is $350,000 with no contingency. And what's happening here is that if you total that up, we're going to have a variance of $50,000, which is under budget. We should be targeting $900,000 to spend on our budget. But right now we're targeting to spend only $850,000. So this is a particular risk that we have to look into in regards to the cost variance, because right now we're underspending. Now going here on the bottom right, we have our risks and issues. So right now we do have an issue with the budget underspend. It's not a risk. It's something that's been realized. So when it's realized, it becomes an issue. And what we have to do here is that we have to work with the internal resource managers to ensure the booking of the hours. And what we determined in looking into this is that the internal resources, they're not booking all of them, their hours promptly. So that's kind of causing the underspend here as an example. So if you can identify the issue there, you have to put the next actions here specifically as to what you're going to do to alleviate that issue. So you would have your steps here. And of course, you would have your owner, the project manager. Again, it would be the name of the person. And if you want to also include another column here, like with the due date, you can do that also. Or you can kind of put it here in the next actions, will be completed by a certain date. It's up to you or what's expected of you. Then here you have the risk, confirming the UAT roster. And the way we're going to get rid of that risk is that we have to work with the Asia region to identify the roster of testers and also confirm the availability. So the owner of this is going to be the business SMEs, because this is going to be user acceptance testing. This is going to be the actual business users testing this. So the business SME or the business focal is going to take care of this. So that takes care of this lecture on the overall project status report.